Yeah, so I'm very much late to a new upload. I originally intended to make a Backrooms movie review, but that ended up getting scrapped alongside the Digital Circus video because I didn't have a lot of fun making those, and then I got sick with food poisoning. I have recovered now, but I now have a huge gap in my upload schedule, I think, and I have a lot of videos to catch up on. I've uploaded the 4 minutes I made of the Backrooms video to my Patreon as a public post, basically what's left of it, so if you want to see what I was going to make before scrapping the entire thing, it's on there for free to watch. Thank you. It is the third millennium. For more than 43 years, Games Workshop has dominated model prices. They are the corporate masters of Warhammer by the will of the free market, and masters of a million consumers, from the most high-income families to the most basic 3D printer enthusiasts, all dedicated to the service of the Games Workshop of tabletop. In the grim brain rot of the contemporary era, there is only wealth inequality. And also copyright litigations. I'm probably gonna get sued for parodying that.
I'm gonna sue you out of existence.
This isn't going to be a big video since I'm admittedly not a dedicated fan of Warhammer. Oh my god, a Warhammer LARPer. Good grief. Whenever I think of that tabletop series by Games Workshop, I mostly think about the 40k series, but even then I've only played the licensed games and I'm more interested in 40k's insane lore, although that's not to imply that Fantasy and Age of Sigmar stories aren't insane in their own right, like Skaven and the Ogres. I really like them. And also Gotrek and Felix.
You rats all look alike to me.
That's fucking racist!
I'm proud of it.
I don't know if I can ever be part of the wider 40k community because if I said what my favorite faction is, I'm probably gonna get crucified by a racist or get crucified for being racist. Because I'm a Black Templar fan. I'm not a Black Templar fan, I actually like the Town of Votans. I only got into Warhammer 40k proper when I started playing Darktide in August last year. Again, can you tell I'm not a huge tabletop nerd? I mostly got into Darktide because of the Arbitrator DLC, and that's where I got my start. Since then, I've sunk a couple hours into the game. You know, not that much, but the only reason why I'm making a video on this now is because of what I can only assume to be one of gaming's most hyped DLCs ever. The Skitarii. Yeah, I did put that there.
From the moment I understood the weakness of my flesh, it disgusted me.
In case you didn't know, Warhammer 40k Darktide is a horde shooter similar to Left 4 Dead. It's not a one-to-one direct comparison, and Darktide already has two predecessors taking place during Warhammer Fantasy's The End Time Saga, Vermintide and the sequel, which is still getting support. You're not survivors fighting through Louisiana while hoarding pill bottles or bullying each other with chainsaws. In the context of the 40k universe, most of you are penal colony soldiers who just survived the prison break on a transport spaceship and are sent on suicide missions to quell a heretical uprising led by traitorous soldiers of the Mobian Six and a cult that worships the most stinkiest god in fiction, turns cheese. You thought I was gonna say Asmongold, weren't you? I'm not going to bother you with Darktide lore because truth be told, there is a lot. I know just as much as a Warhammer LARPer, as in I don't know shit beyond the very basics. We're all unpaid convicts serving the Inquisition of the Imperium of Man, so like, that's like the most basic of it. Darktide didn't have the best launch back in 2022, but that's besides the point. 4 years since, the game has been massively revamped and now have 3 extra DLC classes. Ice Masked Police Officers, the average Birmingham resident, and now finally released in late June this year, the 2001 Honda Civic.
Good grief, he's naked!
You might have noticed they're not escaped convicts unlike the original 4 classes, maybe except for the meth heads. I don't know, they probably have a weed farm growing somewhere in Nurgle's garden. The Skitarii are the latest addition. You've seen the title of the video and the introduction, I don't know why I said that.
Holy shit, dude, what's the matter? What happened? What's going on?
There's so much porn!
There's already a lot of videos covering what the Skitarii brings to Darktide. I'm not going to offer a unique perspective, like, look at me, I'm just a Roblox player. The most unique opinion I have about Warhammer comes from Games Workshop copyright nuking the single Warhammer 40k game on Roblox, god damn it! At most, the Skitarii differs a lot in that their skill tree looks like one giant cog instead of a tree. Yeah, no shit. As with the other classes of Darktide, which given that I'm exclusively talking about the Skitarii here without ever giving context to what all of the other classes do, and I won't because it will make this video way too damn long, the way you turn your build will suit the playstyle you're going for. In most cases, like Darktide's Games Lantern community hub that let players share their builds with each other, a class's build will in some way inevitably wipe out half the population of Denmark off the face of the planet because of how strong it gets. Now, throw in the Skitarii's unique skill tree and amplify what I just said by tenfold. Jesus Christ. Ordinarily, you'd be given 3 abilities to choose from, and this goes for all the classes. Use it once or a couple times, depends on the class and the talent skills you've allocated, and you have to wait for it to recharge. Pretty simple. For the Skitarii, it's different in that you have to charge up your abilities faster or a little slower by charging or draining capacitance. I don't know how to explain it further, but to the best of my understanding, it charges more depending on how many enemies you've killed and what type of enemy you killed, so abilities might recharge faster if you kill specialists or elite enemies, and some skills do actually drain the capacitance. The 3 distinctive Skitarii abilities are as follows. Number 1, Advanced Combat Doctrines. Take Soldier 76 from Overwatch in his aimbot ultimate and then give it the option to make you fire like you've just taken speed. Number 2, we'll take Emitters. Charge up enough stacks of energy and you blow yourself up in a big ball of electricity.
Oh my god!
And also this ability doesn't work properly as of Rising, so it's not actually that powerful. Number 3, Cord Claw.
Rip and tear until it is done.
Hey, motherfucker! Come here and give me your liver!
This is easily the most fun ability in the game. You can change it to either do a horizontal sweeping attack that hits multiple enemies at once, or turn it into the 5-point palm exploding heart technique that makes enemies bleed a lot. I personally use the horizontal one because it rips through entire groups of enemies so cleanly that by the time you're done, there'll be nothing but literal puddles of meat stew. Combine it with the ability that gives you faster recharge on cord claw kill. Combine it with the ability upgrade that gives you faster recharge on cord claw kills. Combine it with the ability upgrade that gives you faster recharge on cord claw.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
Combine it with the ability upgrade that gives you faster recharge on cord claw kills, and you're now wanted in dozens of countries for your rampant war crimes and countless wanton murder because oh my god, this thing rips ass. The Skitarii grenades, or Blitz, come down to 3 choices. Serval Skull. Flying skulls that shoot enemies for you and can perform tasks for you as well. You can also turn it into a shitty flamethrower that deals basically no damage, or get an extra Medicaid skull that helps revive and rescue teammates. The Medicaid one is easily the best option. I don't know why people don't use this instead of the other shitty ones, and specifically the other server skull upgrades that contribute nothing to the game. Arc Grenades. Delayed electrical grenades that create huge pools of electricity that can wipe out even the strongest enemies off the face of Tertium. Integrated Refractor Emitters. It's a useless piece of shit. If I explained every keystone for the Skitarii at this point, we'd be here all day, so I'll just state my favorite one. Redline Capacitors. You get more ability stacks, and depending on how you allocate skills, it can give bonus buffs to how much damage you can dish out. You can already tell why I use this with the Cord Claw. But what do Skitariis get to use, you may ask? Obviously, knives and guns. Sometimes they're electrified. Now you look stupid. Next question. Arc Maul. A huge electrolyte baton. It's not a baton that can charge itself passively or through combo hits. When its special is activated, hitting enemies with it create lightning arcs that change to more enemies and can also turn it into a mobile flashbang. Very strong choice, but it's a slow, heavy hitting melee. Transonic Blades. Easily the best Skitarii melee weapon in my opinion. You can swap between 2 styles, though it's hard to tell visually. One mode is for crowd control and clearing through multiple enemies, while the second mode is for armor piercing attacks for elite or specialist enemies. The Transonic Blades are super versatile, fast, and easily the deadliest option in the right hands. Mechanicus Power Sword. I'm not even going to bother writing details on what this weapon does. It's literally the worst melee weapon in the entirety of Darktide. I don't mean it like it's the worst melee option for the Skitarii. I mean as in the actually worst one in the entire fucking game. I would not use this if other classes could get this. That's how bad it is. My god. Galvanic rifle. A very funny looking M1 Garand that also resembles the Farquhar Hill rifle. You know, that thing from World War I? Weird design aside, this is a very precise rifle that you can also land shots while sliding, which is very funny to do. Good for sniping, has decent damage, but it's not for close quarters, and you can use this rifle to piss off the really annoying gun nuts on twitter.com.
Shut the fuck up.
Phosphor blast pistol.
I made a really unfunny Team Fortress 2 joke here, but all you need to know about the Phosphor blast pistol is that it's good. It has like a tiny blast radius when you shoot it, so I made a comparison to like that one Scorch shotgun from Team Fortress 2. This gun is pretty good, but like with the galvanic rifle, it's suited to certain situations.
Arc rifle. Use this if you hate seeing enemies. You literally use this to erase an entire direction. I'm not even kidding. Hip fire it to apply electric debuffs to enemies or brace it so it lightning arcs. This is especially good if you have the advanced combat doctrines, though the arc rifle's biggest weakness is how slow it is to reload. Jesus Christ, go faster! A friend of mine told me that I should highly recommend using the chainsaw on the Skitarii because he thinks it's good and fits the class, but then I realized a few things. First off, the Skitarii is not the Zealot. Secondly, the chainsaw isn't as good as I remembered. And finally, the transonic blades exist.
Oh my fucking god!
At the very least, the chain sword is more viable than the Mechanicus power shit.
You do realize that access denied.
Accounting for everything I said, the Skitarii has easily replaced the Arbitrates as my favorite class to play as. I don't really think of myself as having a distinctive main on Darktide. I enjoy all of the classes. I used to always switch operatives whenever I feel like it for variety. The Skitarii though would be a class that I definitely consider to be as close as to a main on Darktide that I have. This class is so phenomenally balanced. Most of their skills are really good when they work, and the new weapons are so good, except the sword, fuck you. And also, since this class is new, the Skitarii probably needs a couple patches. Now, I've played Hive Scum here and there. I consider myself to be pretty decent at that class, and I bet describe them as glass cannons who can go down easily but compensate with unique stims that you can give personal unique buffs to, plus their sheer power through ranged options. The Skitarii though, maybe this is because every new class made in Darktide has to go through the process of grinding all the talents and unlocking difficulties again, so it takes a long ass time to get used to, but I swear, as someone who only exclusively plays an Auric because I like torturing myself, Skitarii are squishier than the Hive Scum. These guys are supposed to be stronger than most of Darktide's roster. The fuck? I'm not expecting something as tough as a Taunt Ogren build or even Arbitrator, and trust me when I say Arbitrates are tanky as hell. I'm saying that because Skitarii are augmented humans who worship the machine god and some consider flesh to be a weak connection, so I expect their armor would mean that Darktide's toughness mechanic dictates that Skitarii would take less damage through a blue toughness meter. It does not feel like that at all. I swear, it feels so easy to screw up as Skitarii. That's not to mention that, as per gaming tradition, new DLC means that new weird ass bugs are going to happen. I already mentioned this, but some Skitarii abilities don't work properly, like the voltaic emitter. Unless the surface is absolutely flat and there's no obstacle or wall blocking your way, this shit won't work for some reason. I'm not sure if it's fixed now, but aside from that, the aim lock feature for the advanced combat doctrine, it doesn't work consistently either. It only locks onto the closest enemies. I understand that, that's part of the skill description, but it's not really that practical, and I don't even think the lock-on works. Like, the entire point of the ability. And then, you know what, there's the Mechanicus power sword. This weapon fundamentally doesn't work. Its special attack, compared to other normal power weapons that the other classes can get, like the Relic Blade, the Power Falchion, and the Power Sword, their special mode deals a lot more damage and can deal effective crowd control, but it builds up so much heat while their special mode is active and can overheat, which temporarily disables it. So it's walking a fine line of balancing between turning the Power Sword on and off. The Skitarii's Mechanicus sword though, it's basically the fucking arc mode if it was even worse, and also doesn't work properly. This sword fucking sucks. Yeah, That's about it. I really enjoyed the Skitarii for what they added to Darktide, which is a really unique spin on what Darktide's established talent tree and ability regeneration tradition, and the hype for it was definitely worth it. The general hype for the Skitarii coming to Darktide has been a pretty long time coming. I think people have been hoping for them even long before the Arbitrates arrived back in August 2025, which is when I started playing, and the developers have even mentioned that one of their first DLC classes they pitched was literally the Skitarii. The hype was so real that you just had to be there when the second DLC class was being announced. People were feeling fucking mad that the second class was the Hive Scum instead of the Skitarii. I was one of the many people who were fully expecting Skitarii to be the second DLC class after Arbitrates, but I wasn't really all that disappointed compared to the rest of the community reaction, and you can really tell by looking at the Steam player count when each DLC dropped. Out of the 3 DLC class launches, the Skitarii has the most players joining Darktide, with the Hive Scum being the weakest. I don't like using Steam charts as a measurement since it completely ignores the console player count, but even then, this chart goes to show just how hyped they were. And at the end of the day, I do consider the Skitarii to be one of Darktide's best additions ever. That chart doesn't make the best balancing changes all of the time, with some Skitarii talents being bugged, and don't even get me started on how some of the penances at start were extremely tedious, plus the addition of the new Vanguard shield enemies being so ridiculously badly implemented that they could survive Cord Claw strikes. Why? Hiccups like these are inevitable and have to be resolved quickly, which, judging from recent patch notes, Fat Shark are at least listening, which is good. The Skitarii brings a lot of life to Darktide through its unique skills and weapons to the table, plus the unique customization system that they get, which I didn't mention at all earlier in the video. Overall, great DLC that's worth the price tag. Also, when Skitarii was announced at Warhammer Skulls 2026, one of the studios featured during the event accidentally leaked the entire scheduled livestream early somehow, and the Steam store page for the Skitarii DLC also got released early. A lot of people found out the third DLC class was going to be the Skitarii way earlier than they should have. And also, the intro monologue I made at the start of the video was meant for the Roblox Warhammer video before I had to cancel it because, you know, Games Workshop hates it when the community has fun.
Thank you to my patron Sai and the entire B movie script. Sorry for the late upload. I promise the next ones will be faster.